What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for the day. We end up having a really nice Thursday, which is great to see. Thursday, I always think about is kind of the start to our weekend, so start to our college football and NFL weekend. And yeah, we have a really nice week, a really nice start to the weekend here. We get a four-man right here hit for us in 8X, which is nice to see. We did set this up earlier in the week. I think we set it up yesterday, and then we hit this on League of Legends, took 2 overs. And if you guys don't know about League of Legends and why it's so correlated, it's pretty much like how the saying goes, or it's like a rising tide raises all boats, or whatever the saying is, where if a team is winning the game, they're going to get more kills, more assists. Everyone on that team, it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to get more kills, more assists because your team is winning. So this team did go 2-1. Okay, so they had 2 wins and 1 loss in the 3 games they played. So because they won more than they lost, they go way over their kill total. Okay, so you guys see these guys got 37 kills. This guy got 51 assists. So these guys, like some of these guys, almost doubled their kill totals, or not exactly, but close, right? And yeah, League of Legends probably one of my favorite things to ever bet on because it's so extremely correlated. Super nice to see. We have a ton of setups that I'm going to get into, but I will say, going into the positive that hit the 8X, and then I'm going to get into a lot more positives. But man, this play was so extremely close. Probably our closest one, the closest entry we've had in probably the past 2 weeks. Sam Darnold. I mean, I don't want to go over the whole game, but Sam Darnold was under this the entire time except the very last pass, setting his team up in field goal range, and then he goes over that pass to JSN. And, there was an opportunity for them to score on the goal line. That would have put them up by 2 possessions. There was an opportunity to then kick a field goal. I think it was a 52-yard field goal by Myers. He ends up missing that field goal, and then the Cardinals get the ball back at about the 40, and you could just feel that the Cardinals were going to score and tie the game up. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, when an offense has been bottled up the entire day, and they finally got momentum, you could just tell that the Cardinals were going to score. So the Cardinals score, then it's tied up, then Sam Darnold gets 1 pass to JSN. They actually get the ball on the 40-yard line. They pass to JSN for like 20, 25 yards. It was a good pass. I was hoping for pass interference because that wouldn't have counted towards his passing yards. And then Sam Darnold does go over. They run one more time with Zach Charbonnet to set up the field goal, and then they kick a field goal to win the game. And yeah, just an absolute heartbreaker. I mean, he was... going into the fourth quarter, he was like around here. He was at like 170 or something. And, if you know anything, winning by like he was winning by like 20 points or like 17 points or whatever it is. And if you guys know anything about football, if you're winning by 17 points going into the fourth quarter, you're probably not passing very much. So legitimately, like the exact thing that we needed not to happen, which was Cardinals to come back in this game perfectly, ended up happening. And yeah, I mean, if the Seahawks would have scored that touchdown that got called back from holding, this would have hit because they would have been up by 2 possessions, so they would have just kneeled the ball out. If they would have kicked that field goal and made it, the first field goal, and Jason Myers, I think his name's Jason Myers, would have made that first field goal, this would have hit. And then if the Cardinals wouldn't have scored on that last drive they had, and they wouldn't have tied the game up, there would have been a pick, there would have been an interception, a fumble, a sack, whatever it was, turnover on downs. This also would have hit. So had multiple opportunities for this to hit. At the end of the day, should this have hit? Yes. Am I mad that this didn't hit? Yes. Does this happen in football sometimes, where football is just, or just any sport, right? Does this happen in betting sometimes, where just the unexplainable happens? Yes, guys. This is part of the game. It's a heartbreaker. I'm sure, if you had this play, everyone's heart sunk that Sam Darnold got 1 more pass completion in this game, where he really, the game should have been over 10 minutes ago, but this does happen in betting. So we should have really hit both of these. Am I happy that we hit one of these? Yes. I'm happy that we hit one of these, and we are very set up. So I know I went over that quite a lot, but yeah, we are set up going into this weekend very well. We took JSN under, we took Kyler Murray over, which if you guys don't know what I do a strategy called correlation. As you guys see on League of Legends, very correlated together. So if one thing happens, the other thing is likely to happen. So what's likely to happen if the Cardinals go behind in this game? Kyler Murray is going to throw a ton. He threw 41 times, and JSN is not likely to get many receiving targets because the Seahawks are not likely to pass very much. So that happened there. And then correlation in Counter-Strike, we did hit some discounts and such. We had JSN and Chad Ryland go over. We had, this was actually not correlated, funny enough, but we had a good, I just really like this Army play down here. And then we do have a couple of setups here with this ASU and TCU game, which is nice to see. And then we have this was the play of yesterday right here. So it was Kyler over, which was the discount. So that did hit, which is nice. And then we had Lamar to go over 1.5 pass touchdowns, okay? And I told you guys in yesterday's video, I said Lamar's probably going to turn into a green goblin. So get this while you can. And I checked it up until this Cardinals game, and he was not a green goblin yet. So overnight, he turns into a green goblin. So, whatever you want to shape, form, think about this, right? Does this mean that Lamar's going to get 2 passing touchdowns guaranteed? No, of course not, guys. He could get 1 passing touchdown. He could get 0 passing touchdowns. He could get 5 passing touchdowns. Who knows? But at the end of the day, you cannot argue with the wall or whatever you want to say that this was a really good play because we got Lamar at 1.5 at a normal line, and now his line right now is a green goblin. So we got this yesterday at non-green goblin prices, and now for the rest of the weekend, if you want to take Lamar over 1.5 passing touchdowns, it is a green goblin, which I don't recommend taking it anymore. If it's a green goblin, don't take it. If it's a normal line, then do take it. So this is exactly what I said. Again, guys, even though we've had our ups and downs, I know what I'm doing. I know how these things work, and sometimes I feel when things are going to happen. A day later, I can tell when green goblins are gonna form or whatever's going to happen. All that means is that we're getting value. Okay, so who knows if the play is going to hit or not? That's kind of up to luck at some point. But all we can do is play the best entries possible. And again, if Prizepicks is setting something to a green goblin after we just took it at not a green goblin, that's pretty much Prizepicks yielding to us and saying, hey, this line was way too good at what you got it at. We're now going to offer this at reduced prices, if that kind of makes sense. Right? So you got this at too good of a value. We are now going to offer it at reduced prices, so other people cannot get this. If you guys don't know, we're up 105 units, 106 units this summer. Again, this is constantly fluctuating. That's why I don't really stick to these numbers too much. It's constantly going up and down as the days progress, but you guys need to understand that we do win long term. And again, this weekend could be the weekend that we go up 40, 50 units. I don't want to jinx anything, knock on wood, obviously, but weekends like this where we have really good setups going into the weekend already on a Thursday or Friday morning, these are the type of weekends that could be big weekends for us. So, like I said yesterday, the past month, we've really just had ups and downs. And, one of these weekends, guys, where we have all this college football and this, again, there's a lot of great sports bets this weekend. There's a lot of good games this weekend. There's a lot of good bets this weekend. We could have a breakout where we go up 30 units and then this is our new baseline. We're kind of, trailing along here and then we break out again. Then we kind of trail along here, we break out again, and this is normally kind of how it goes. If you looked at last year's graph, it's very zoomed out, but this is exactly how it goes. You kind of go down, then you go up, then you go down, and you kind of baseline, and you kind of go here, and then you kind of go down, you baseline. So this is how you kind of are going throughout the year, and at the end of the year, when you zoom out, you go up 600 units like we did last year, okay, guys? So again, 105 units so far this summer since May 1st, and then up more than 220 units in 2025 so far, guys. And if you don't know what a unit is, it is how much you're betting on every single bet. So if you're a $5 bettor, you'd be up more than $1,000. If you're a $10 bettor, you put $10 on every play, you'd be up $2,000. All right, guys? And then it kind of goes up from there. So I do have a play on Prizepicks I'm very excited about. I do want to mention ONYX odds. As always, guys, you'll get a free $100 in free picks for signing up for ONYX odds. This is such extremely good value. I don't know what else to say. You're getting a free $100 for signing up for ONYX odds with my code. It is super simple to do. All you do is you just sign up on the website with my code. You put in some of your information. I'm sure you guys have signed up for apps before, and you get a free $100 to bet with. Okay, so we're going into the weekend. We actually have some college games tonight. We have some NFL games, obviously on Sunday, and then we have a ton of college football games that I'm gonna be sending out plays for on ONYX odds. I will say if you're on the VIP, get ONYX odds. Like you're gonna need ONYX odds to get into the VIP because. I probably send out like 1 or 2 ONYX plays a day now because I just really like the website, and you guys have a lot of free picks that you're looking to deploy on different plays. All right, so you'll get 4 $25 free picks. All right, so you can do this. If you have a friend or a family member that wants to do this, also text me. I'll get them my code. Who doesn't like a free $100? And again, most importantly, you'll get 1 free month of the VIP. Here are 2 plays that I talked about yesterday, so I'm not going to get too much into the weeds here. It does look slowly better and better that Jaden Daniels is starting. So I don't know what the line is right now, but if this line is anywhere under 150, minus 150, I would take it. Yeah, it does look like Jaden Daniels might actually start. So we got really good value here if you guys did get this at 125. And then Chargers money line, again, I didn't check the odds. These are screenshots from yesterday, but still really like these plays. Chargers money line versus the Giants. I went over this yesterday. It's Jackson Dart. It's his first game. how often do we see rookie quarterbacks coming out and being like an absolute amazing player in their first game, especially against the Chargers, right? Even Jaden Daniels, arguably the best rookie year last year, he still lost his first ever game in the NFL, all right, guys? So one more thing, if you do want to get into the VIP for 2 months free, so you want to be committed a little bit longer, you guys can sign up for BOVADA. Again, I have a lot of apps you guys can sign up for. Just text me the corresponding word to the app, and then I will send you, it's actually me sending it, I will send you the link in the instructions to sign up for that app, and that'll get you either 1 to 2 months free of the VIP. You can do the same thing with Better. You can do the same thing with Rebet. You can do the same thing with Novig. You can do the same thing with Chalkboard. All right. So a lot of opportunities to get into the VIP with different apps. And if you already think that you have all the apps, you probably don't. Okay. You probably don't have all the apps because I have quite a lot of apps you guys can sign up for. All right. Here's the Prizepicks play. I know I talked quite a lot, but big day, honestly, big Thursday. I'm glad that we got set up going into tonight and tomorrow, so good to see that. And yeah, this is going to be the play of the day here. Real quick, I'm going to delete this Aaron Rodgers, but this is just a solid pick. You know, I'm going to have a video tonight where I go over all my favorite picks of the weekend. This Aaron Rodgers over 13 fantasy score is probably going to be in there if the line's still there. This bumped to 13.5 briefly last night, and then now it's back down to 13. It's just a really solid play. I kind of went over it yesterday. It's a great play. So here are the plays for the day. All right, we have Thomas Castanelos. I'm going to call him Tommy. I know a lot of people call him Tommy, and I'm taking him under 14.5 pass completions. All right, I couldn't really find a good graph to show this, but he has gotten like between 10 to 11 pass completions in every game that he has played so far this season for FSU. They are minus 250 favorites to win this game. Okay. So FSU, I actually think, is a really underrated team, and they're facing Virginia. And I think there is no way he goes over this if they end up winning this game. Now, if they end up losing this game, that means they're going to have to pass in the fourth quarter. That means they're going to have to try to pass to get back in this game. If they do end up losing this game, this would be kind of upset territory, honestly. Like, if Florida State loses this game, you'll hear about it on ESPN being like, oh, Florida State got upset by Virginia. And so they should win this game, all things considered. If they win this game, they're going to not pass very much at all. Now, this is a team, and this is why I like college football, because they have a strategy where they run the football a ton. They run the ball with their running back, and they run the ball with Tommy, okay? Tommy is not a player that's kind of just like a mobile quarterback or a scrambling quarterback. He is like a run-first quarterback. He kind of reminds me of like a mini Lamar or a mini Mike Vick. He can really run. He can really be elusive. He can do spin moves. He can do jukes, like crazy stuff with his legs, okay? So if you really, I'll be honest, the only game that I've really watched Florida State is the Alabama game, and that the only reason why I've only watched that game is because I've been trying to bet on this guy week after week after week. They just haven't had his lines up, but for some reason they have his lines up tonight. I think because it's a Friday night game, so they want people to bet on this game. And I've been dying to bet on this guy again because he has such a game script. Okay, Florida State has such a game script. One thing that's important to understand about college football, guys, is that some teams are super run first. Think about Iowa. Think about Florida State. Think about maybe even Penn State in different years, stuff like that. They're very, very run heavy, and then you have some teams that are very pass heavy, that all they do is pass. So Syracuse is a good example of that. Eastern Carolina that we bet on yesterday is a good example of that. Miami last year is a good example of that with Cam Ward. Ole Miss last year is a good example of that with Jackson Dart, because they are super, super pass happy. They pass and they pass and they pass, and then some teams they run, okay? Army's a good example of that, right? That run over and over and over again, right? So Florida State, they run like crazy. If they're leading in games, they do not pass the ball at all. They run zone option, they run zone reads, they run with the quarterback over and over again. And I kid you not, you'll see if they're winning in this fourth quarter, if you're watching this game, you'll be lucky if they get one pass off in the fourth quarter. If they're winning by 7 to 10 points, they probably will not pass the ball one time. So again, there's been games where he has 200 yards and he only gets 9 or 10 pass completions. So he throws it deep and they run the ball like crazy, right? They honestly play like one of these like Army Navy teams sometimes, and they're a good team, right? I really like watching them, so I'm taking them under. Sometimes you gotta go with the how this team plays the game, okay? Sam Levitt, I'm going over 26 pass completions for him. As you guys can see, if you look at their spread right here on FanDuel, or not their spread, their money line, it should be a very even game. So we have TCU, Arizona State is very slightly favored, it seems like, on FanDuel, but I think this is a completely 50-50 game, okay? If you watch this game that they just played versus Baylor last week, you have Baylor and Arizona State. this was a game that could have went into overtime, okay? Pretty much what happens is Arizona State gets like a 1 to 1 minute and a half drill, and they end up kicking a field goal, and they end up winning this game. It was a very even game versus Baylor. Now they're facing TCU, which I think TCU is a better team than Baylor. I actually think TCU is a very slept-on team. I think Baylor's a great team too, but TCU I think is a little bit better than Baylor, and I think this is going to be a very even back-and-forth matchup, okay? So, again, if a team is trailing, or if it's a very back-and-forth matchup where TCU is putting up a lot of points, then Sam Leavitt's going to have to throw the ball, okay? The only times he's gone under this is in a win versus Texas State where they win by 15 points. So I don't think they're going to win by 15 points against TCU, guys. Actually, they won by 20 points or 19 points. I don't think they're going to win by 19 points. What ends up happening in this game is Arizona State gets up by like 15 to 20 points, and they end up running this ball over and over and over again, because if you're winning a football game, you're going to run the ball to try to run the clock out, okay? And he still gets 25 pass attempts, so he still gets close to 26, okay? I just think 26 is way too low, way too low. You'll see on Parlay Play, his line is 27.5. On Underdog, his line is 26.5. So there's a lot of apps that have him way higher than this, so try to get this on Prizepicks if you can. The only concern that you could see here is this Mississippi State game. Now, this Mississippi State game I watched very closely because we did bet on it, and there was a point in this game where they decided, I don't know whether it was the coach, I don't know whether it was, it had to be the coach. They decided in this game somewhere that they were not going to throw the ball at all. They were not going to throw the ball anymore. They threw the ball really terribly in this game, and they decided we're only running the ball. It was kind of weird to see, honestly, because they were trailing, and they played this weird game where they had like 6 minutes left in the game. And what they were trying to do is waste the clock out to then try to get that final touchdown at the end of the game and then just win the game with the final touchdown. So this was a very weird game to watch when you did watch it. And there was, again, a point in the game where they just decided not to throw the ball at all. So I don't think that's going to happen again. I think that was kind of a one-off. And if you look at these other games where they're losing, so like this Texas game, I'm a Texas fan, guys. This was in the playoffs last year. But again, in a game where he's losing, he threw the ball close to 50 times. So Sam Leavitt and Arizona State, and by the way, this was with Cam Skattebo, however you want to say his name. So they were kind of a more run-happy team last year. He threw the ball close to 50 times last year, right? I don't really like normally going back to last year's data and stuff, but again, this team can throw the ball when they need to throw the ball. Sam Leavitt is a good quarterback and can throw the ball when he needs to throw. So I think they might be trailing, or I think this is going to be a very close game. I think it's unlikely that Arizona State wins by 20 points against TCU, okay? If that does happen, then he might have the chance of going under. So hopefully you guys kind of understand what I'm saying here. I'm saying that if Florida State wins this game, which again, they're minus 250, then he's probably going under. If Arizona State either is in a close game or they end up trailing in this game, so 2 out of the 3 scenarios, then I think that Sam Leavitt goes over this line here. The only time that he would go under this line here is if they win this game by like 20 to 15 points, okay? So if that does happen, whatever, we'll take it. We'll take the L. But again, I think this is going to be a close game tonight, or I think they're going to be trailing versus TCU and having to catch up based on their throwing, okay? So this is what I'm going with. I know that was very long-winded. I just sometimes want to get into, want to take you guys into my mind of how I'm thinking about some of these bets. A lot of times it's not about the individual player. It's not about, oh, I think Sam Leavitt's going to perform really well against TCU tonight. It's more about how these teams operate, how an average college football game goes, and what these teams think about, and again, the game scripts of how these games are going to go, right? I think FSU takes this game very easily, so I don't think Tommy's going to pass very much, and I think this ASU-TCU game is going to be a very neck-and-neck game, or I think TCU comes out ahead maybe 14-0 or something like that in the first quarter, and then ASU is playing from behind and having to throw the ball over and over and over again. Okay, guys? So thank you guys so much for watching. If you stuck around for all that explanation, I know I talk a lot sometimes. If you do want to get into the VIP, the best way to do so, honestly, is with ONYX odds. You'll get a free $100 to bet with this weekend. Who does not want a free $100 to bet with? All you have to do is click the link in the pinned comment, or you can text me, okay? So I've had a lot of people just text me ONYX. I'll get you guys the link to sign up for ONYX odds. I'll get you guys into the VIP. You're going to be hammering plays today. All the college football and NFL lines are out, so we have so much to bet on this week. And today, Friday, really, on average, I probably send out the most bets on Friday, okay? So get ready for a lot of bets. We're set up well going into the weekend, and yeah, let's get geared up for a big weekend. Let's try to hit like a 30 to 40 unit weekend or something like that. That would be amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and I'll see you actually tonight for another video with some more NFL and college football plays that I'm liking, all right? So thank you guys again, and I'll see you then.